If you're looking to defend every meta army with just one base, you're at the right place. If you have no idea what army opponent will use, you can use this Town Hall 17 base. Let's get to the base analysis. Alright, this time we have a Town Hall 17 Anti Everything base. This is a diamond-style base that is nicely spread out to counter every attack strategy in the game. Unlike compact bases, where defenses are close together, this one is spread out strategically to reduce the value of Fireball and RC walks. Now, if you understand how Fireball works, you know that attackers always aim to target a key defense with their Fireball. But here's the problem. This base makes that extremely difficult. Try picking out any key defense on this base. If you place a Fireball there, you'll only hit 1 or 2 additional defenses at most. That means attackers won't get enough value, and without a strong start, the attack is already at a disadvantage. Now let's talk about spell towers. Both of them are set to poison mode, and there's a very good reason for that. Right now, the strongest attack strategies include air spam and RC walk, and poison towers are the best counter to both. Some people might argue that rage towers are just as strong, since they boost damage, and they're partially right. But for rage towers to be effective, you need multiple defenses inside the rage radius, and if you do that, you create an easy fireball value spot. That's exactly what we don't want. Poison towers, on the other hand, don't need defenses to be stacked together. They slow down troops, deal splash damage, and allow defenses to hit attacking troops for a much longer time. That's why Poison Mode is the best choice for this base. Now let's talk about the Inferno Towers. We have 2 Infernos set to single target mode, and that's because the current meta relies heavily on high HP troops like Dragons, Electro Dragons, and Root Riders. Single Infernos are the best at melting these units quickly. But here's where the base gets even better. We've designed the base in a way that makes it difficult for troops to path directly to the single Infernos. That means attackers will struggle to take them out early, giving them even more time to burn through enemy troops. And not just that, the Monolith plays a huge role in defense as well. Just like single Infernos, the Monolith is extremely strong against high HP troops. But because of its longer range and hits faster, it's even more dangerous. That's why we've built a strong defense ring around it, making sure it stays protected while continuously dealing massive damage. Now, if you look at the core of the base, you'll notice the Fire Spitters. These are long-range splash defenses that are best placed in the core so they can cover most of the base. They deal heavy splash damage to both ground and air units. And here's an important detail. Each Fire Spitter faces in the opposite direction. That means no matter which side the attacker enters from, their troops will still take constant splash damage. Now you might be wondering, why don't we put ground expos in the core instead? The reason is simple. At Town Hall 17, there are much stronger defenses than ground expos, so it makes more sense to place them towards the outside, while keeping the Fire Spitters in the core where they can do the most damage. Now, let's talk about air spam attacks. One of the key defensive setups in this base is the sweeper placement. Both sweepers are facing the bottom side, making an entry from that direction much harder. But that's just one part of defending air. If you look at the air defenses, you'll notice that at least 2 of them are always covering each other. That means when dragons enter their range, they'll be hit by 2 air defenses at once, taking double the damage. And that's not all. We also have single target Infernos and poison towers to slow them down, making sure they take even more damage before they can reach the core. Meanwhile, the Monolith remains tough to reach, dealing heavy damage in the middle of the base. And for any ground troops or heroes that try to push through, ground expos and merge defenses will take care of them. With all of these defenses combined, this base completely shuts down every type of attack. Alright, that's it for the base analysis. Now let's move on to the defense replays and see this base in action. For the first replay, we have Electro Dragons. The Siege Barracks is used to set the funnel on the bottom, while the heroes create a funnel on the left side. Once the setup is complete, the Electro Dragons are sent into the core with rage spells. Now, the attacker makes a smart decision not to use the Warden ability early, since there isn't much immediate damage. But watch what happens next. As the dragons move deeper into the base, they hit the back-end defenses, and that's where things fall apart. As the dragons approach the town hall, they get hit by the Minion Prince, 2 air defenses, and the Giga Bomb. In just a few seconds, almost all of the dragons are gone. What looked like a strong start turns into a low% defense. For the second replay, we have RC Walk Hydra Spam. The Royal Champion is sent in from the right side and gets good value initially. But as she moves closer to the Poison Tower, she gets slowed down heavily and doesn't do much damage in the core. Meanwhile, the heroes set up the funnel at the bottom side. And after a solid funnel is established, all the dragons are sent into the core. The Royal Champion is also funneling the other side, making sure the dragons get a direct path to the Town Hall. But here's where it all goes wrong. The sweepers constantly push the dragons back, slowing them down just enough for the defenses to deal massive damage. The attack seems on track at first, but as the troops reach the Town Hall, they get completely wiped out. Another huge fail for the attacker. For the third replay, we have Root Rider Smash. The Warden and Siege Barracks set up the funnel on both sides, allowing the main army to push straight into the core. As always, the start looks solid. But here's the pattern we've seen over and over. The attack collapses as soon as the troops reach the Town Hall. After the Town Hall compartment, the army is left with no support, no spell coverage, and is completely vulnerable to back-end defenses. The back-end troops and heroes make sure nothing survives. This results in another low% defense. For the fourth replay, we have Root Rider Spam again, but this time paired with an RC Walk. The Royal Champion starts from the bottom and actually gets a good amount of value. She even paths directly to the monolith, which is rare. So, the start is looking strong. But once the Root Riders and main army push into the core, they get stuck under heavy firepower. The back-end defenses like scattershots, infernos, and the spread-out defensive setup make sure they have no chance of clearing the base. Even though the attack didn't end in a complete disaster, it still results in a defense. For the final replay, we have Super Witches. The attacker starts with a Warden Walk on the left side, creating a solid funnel even without Fireball. But then, the attacker tries to get extra value with Fireball, using invisibility spells to target something in the core. Here's where the spread-out base design works perfectly. Since defenses aren't stacked together, the Fireball barely gets any value. Now, the Super Witches are sent in to secure the Town Hall, with the Siege Barracks, King, and Royal Champion helping funnel the troops into the core. But there's one big problem. The attacker used too many spells at the start. By the time the troops reach the core, there are no spells left to support them. Without spell support, the troops get overwhelmed by the back-end defenses. The result? A super low percent defense. And just like that, another flawless defense for this base. Alright, that's it for the defense replays. If you want to try this base for yourself, the base link is in the description. Like and subscribe for more Clash of Clans base designs, and I'll see you soon with another cool base.